Hey there, welcome to the Receive Experience podcast. This is Tyson, and today I am doing something different. Usually I have a guest that I'm interviewing, and technically I did interview or talk with someone, a friend of mine that I've interviewed before. His name is Chris Fox. You can view previous messages with him, but I wanted to share with you a conversation that we had. I didn't record it, but what I did do instead is that I took the transcript from it and I put it into, I guess, a slide presentation of sorts that I wanted to share with you because there were some really powerful insights. And I love sharing with you the insights that I learned because of how much I know that they can bless you and help you. And my mission is to help all of us connect deeper with God and live in a newness of life, live in a life that's just so free. And so this conversation brought me freedom. So I'm going to share with you the things that I learned and that we talked with together. And I believe it will bring you freedom. So the thing that my friend Chris started off with was he just shared about how one of the words that God gave him at the beginning of this year was abundance. And his mind automatically went to abundance equals financial abundance. And honestly, that's kind of where my mind goes as well. And so he asked for prayers from his friends and just other, I guess, coaches that really understand hearing from God, and was really blessed by that experience. He left that request for prayer with an insight. And the insight was this, is to ask the Lord the question, like, what does he mean by abundance? Lord, show me what you mean by abundance. Show me where there's abundance in my life. And the Lord said, well, you have an abundance of time, you have an abundance of health. And just through his life experiences, there was a kind of a mudslide near his house, and it just kind of washed up some rocks and created an actual safety hazard for people in his community when they would drive by it. And so when he drove by it, he recognized that he had an abundance of time to be able to address the issue, and he also had the tools to do it. So he followed the prompting to clean it up. And as he did that for a couple hours, all sorts of neighbors and people drove by and said, thank you. We've been thinking about doing that. And now he's just operating from this place of looking for abundance wherever he goes. And I would just add to this that I remember listening to a coach, his name's Joe Hudson, and he talked about one of the practices that really helped him actually increase in financial prosperity was being able to sit down every day with his wife, and they just would bounce back and forth, not only expressing gratitude, but feeling it, really internalizing and feeling the emotion of, I really am grateful for this. So when Chris was talking to me about abundance, that's kind of what came to my mind, is like, I really do have an abundance of knowledge about certain things. I have an abundance of knowledge of how to work with websites and business and putting things together. And I have an abundance of curiosity. And I just love to ask questions that lead to conversations like the one that I had with Chris. And I have an abundance of peace. There's a peace about me. And it was confirmed by Chris at the end of our time together. He said a prayer and a blessing over me, and he said, I'm so grateful for Tyson's non-anxious presence. He's like, that's what I love about him the most. And that's something that is true about me. There's a peace that I've been able to develop and bring because I really, truly believe that God loves us, wants to provide for us, wants us to have joy in this life, wants to help us in all the ways. And so, yeah, I try and live that. And if you want to experience that, then come hang out with me in the Receive Academy. Shameless plug. To come, come and join me and other people who are like-minded that just want to listen to God and see what happens. So, okay, here's insight number 2. Every challenge is an invitation in disguise. So much like Chris's experience of seeing the rocks and the things on the road, that's an invitation. That could be seen as an irritant. That's frustration. That could be seen as, hey, someone should do something about this. But maybe, or at least when you decide to change your perspective, when you start to see things as, what if this is an opportunity for me to connect with God? Then any frustration that you have, anything that's bugging you about life, now becomes a chance to ask God, like, what do you say? Like, where's the abundance in this? What have you given me to be able to address this moment? And while he was talking about this, my mind immediately went to the frustration that I'm having with setting up AI and doing different projects and things like that. And it's just not working. And so immediately what came to my mind in terms of the question of what abundance has God given me? Well, he's given me an abundance of being able to figure things out like this, that I am technologically savvy and that I have a persistence about me when I want to figure something out. And so there's all these blessings that I could be reminded of, as well as when I choose to connect with God in those moments of frustration, I'm then blessed with a peace of mind, a sense of guidance, a slowing down, those kinds of things. So every challenge is an invitation in disguise. Insight number 3, name 5 ways he spoke to you today. So I recently had an interview with Baxter Krueger. Definitely watch that one. It's like an hour and a half, but it's really good. And one of the things that he invites people to do is just to ask questions. Well, really, he just asks, okay, review over your past day and ask the Lord, what are 5 ways that you spoke to me? Because in the context of mine and Chris's conversation, he realized that I was living inside of a box. And I'll tell you, the box for me, and as you work to, as you practice a skill, or as you practice listening to God a lot more, what you end up learning is that there might be one primary way in which the Lord speaks with you. For me, I really do receive well when I'm in a place of peace, when I'm contemplating, when I'm journaling. I hear words, and sometimes I get images and other things like that. That's just ways in which the Lord kind of communicates to me through the Spirit. And so I also feel usually a physical sensation alongside that. Like there tends to be more of a sensation in my heart or my gut versus a purely overthinking, like really head heavy kind of experience. So that's one way that I tend to differentiate how God speaks. But the thing is, if I limit God to just that way, then I put him in a box. And I don't realize that he's speaking to me in all sorts of other ways. Like in the moments where I'm playing with my son and the Lord invites me to play a little bit longer. Or, Tyson, that desire that you have to like explore AI and other things, like I put that in you. That was me. That invitation, that idea, that continuing that path, that was me speaking. And so I just think that you might be surprised if you just start asking God, Lord, what are 5 different ways that you speak to me, that you have spoken to me this past day? And you really reflect on that and allow whatever comes up to be from God, to not question it, get out of trying to make this a formula that you need to get right, and just dive in, see what happens, see what you learn, explore, be curious, contemplate. And my guess is that if you do this, then you will find just greater connection, greater insights. You will be nourished, and you will see that the Lord is talking to you a lot more than you think He is. And at least in the words of Baxter Krueger, he says, okay, ask for 5 ways He spoke to you, and then name 5 more the next day, and then 10 more. Just constantly be thinking about how God is talking to you and in what ways is He talking to you. Because then you'll just find that His life is, you are much more connected than you think. All right. One thing that Chris told me, because my question was, I do feel like there's this difference for me. Like I could just go to town, living my life, doing the things that I enjoy and classify that as God has placed these things of passion in me. And so if I'm doing those things that are passionate, that give me life and joy, then that's God and it's good. And yet I know that when I do come into a place of just pondering and silence and asking these kinds of questions of, Lord, what do you want me to know? What do you want me to do? That there tends to be answers, and sometimes they aren't to do the things I'm passionate about. So I'm presenting this to Chris, and he said, well, what if there's no wrong way? And for me, what immediately comes up is a sense of freedom. But then there's also the question of just like, but I don't know. I think that there is a right way and a wrong way. And I don't know, the more I talk to people and interview people, the more free I become. The more I see how God wants to work with us in many different ways. And really what I find too is that if I at least go down the trail of what if there were no wrong ways, that it takes down the shame. And that doesn't mean to say that maybe go do whatever you want. It's more so to recognize that you are in constant connection with God. And when you're operating from a place of being loved and in a place of abiding with Him, what you do with your life and your time, it will naturally bring out the best in you. Like you will do good and great things. Most people on this planet are good. They're trying to do the right things. They're trying the best that they can with what they've got and with the histories that they've got. And so if I just let go of there needing to be a right way to get to a place that I think is better than here, then I'm out of it. I'm out of a present reality of God's love and support. But when I believe that there's no wrong ways, I can go and I can just be loved here and now, then all of a sudden, when the idea comes to make this video, I do it and see what happens. I don't know. This video came because I said yes to a friend who wanted to have a conversation. I saved the transcript and I told him, like, I really like AI and there's this new design feature. And I put our transcript within the design and said, come up with 10 slides that teach us something and like to capture what we shared together. And now I get to share it with you. It's like super cool. And I'm just recognizing that on this slide, there's like really, really light text. So AI did not get it correct. Let me just read this. Said aloud, the question brings an immediate sense of freedom, and then right behind it, a small voice arguing. Oh yeah. So I just taught you what this is though. Yeah, the voice is a performative one. Yeah, the one that believes there's better than here. It's not better there. We want to fantasize and imagine that life is greener on the other side of the hill. But what we're really wanting is a feeling. And that feeling of peace, that feeling of even prosperity, the feeling of that you are fulfilling your purpose, that's all just a feeling that comes from a thought. That's all a feeling that can be met by you talking to God and asking Him, Lord, I'm thinking that my life will be better when this thing in my life has changed, when I have the better health, when I have the better finances, when I have the better relationships. I'm thinking that everything in life will be better once this is solved. What do you say? What do you think? And just let the Lord replace your thoughts with His thoughts, because He doesn't think anything's wrong with you right now. He doesn't think that there's anything wrong with your life right now, which is crazy. Or at least if you're willing to entertain that. You might argue with it. You might say, well, I'm doing some pretty bad things. I have some bad habits that I haven't yet to get rid of. Surely He might think He's going to think negatively of me. It's like, He sees you, the wholeness of you. He looks upon your heart. Everything is one eternal now to Him. So He sees the future you, sees the past you. He knows the whole context of your life and timeline. So He sees you differently than you see yourself, which allows Him to really, truly say, there's nothing wrong with you. Okay, insight number 5. So one of the things that Chris talked about, he was reading this book called Performance Coaching or something like that. And in it was this concept of a lot of times organizations will have rules. And a lot of people, like the only reason why a rule is ever created is when we get up to the barrier. It's like we're drifting so far from what we should be doing that they have to create a rule. It's like, don't go this far. Don't go past these guide rails. And I remember a story where like a businessman was saying for all these like stagecoaches, like stagecoach drivers, there's like, okay, hey, how close can you get to the edge? That was the question that was presented. And these different guys was like, oh, I can get this close, and oh, I can like my wheels can be like riding on the edge. And then one lady stagecoach driver, she's just like, I stay as far from the edge as possible. So I'm way far away. And the business guy's like, I want that person, And so instead of pushing the boundaries, or instead of always trying to look for the rules, when we focus on what is our purpose, like what's the mission here? What are we doing here on this earth, on this planet, in our personal lives? And for me, like my mind went to identity. It went to, I'm just here to receive love. I'm just here to be loved. I'm just here to abide in relationship with the God who loves me and cares about me and wants the best for me, wants to just see me thrive. And as a father myself, I want my kids to thrive. I want to see them shine. I want to see them engage and play in the things that they love. Same thing. So instead of bumping up against all these rules or thinking that, oh, I need to like listen to God in this way or listen to God in that way, I need to do life in this way, I need to make sure I follow all these habits. What if your only job was to be loved? I think that's another insight that's going to come up later, but it's something that I have been practicing myself. My wife and I are trying to do this a little bit more. It's hard to always remember and to start a new habit, but hey, it's so worth it. One thing that I learned, I'm taking a class right now from an organization called Elijah House, and one thing that caught my attention was kind of a phrase of like, we want to put to death everything, even the good stuff. And I've heard the analogy of like, we have this house, and the Lord doesn't just want to make improvements to this house that has, clutter or broken things in it, bad habits, whatever it is. No, the Lord wants to just demolish the entire house, even the good stuff. Like, hey, that's a good sturdy wall. Like, don't destroy that. Well, listen, it is a good thing. You are doing wonderful, beautiful things. but I want to make all of you new. And the way that I think about this is like, Lord, I want the Lord to replace all my thoughts. Like, I want to think like him. I want to have the mind of Christ. And if I can think like him about myself, about God the Father, about other people, my life's going to be pretty good. Like, it's going to be so filled with joy because I'm seeing things as they really are and as they have always been and as they really will be versus my own ways of thinking. And if you're anything like me, you don't think very kindly about yourself. You don't think kind thoughts towards yourself. You're thinking, I'm not enough and I messed up again and I'm horrible and self-conscious about the way that you show up and worried about what people think. If you talk to a stranger, it's like, oh, they're going to think negatively about me. And so you're thinking judgments upon them. And so all sorts of things we're thinking about. And what if all of that's just replaced by what God thinks about us, about them, about him? So Lord said we need to put new wine in new wineskins. So your old wineskin, oh, he wants you to have a new wineskin. And then he'll put new thoughts into that new wineskin. I don't know, just great stuff. And another insight, and this came from Bob Hamp. I haven't taken this identity course that he has, but a friend of mine did, and she told me this. So it's from my friend who learned it from Bob Hamp. And it's just this idea that at all times, the truth is that we are fully resourced, meaning that we have enough money, there's enough attention, enough love, enough wisdom, there's enough time. When we truly operate from this place of abundance, like there is enough, then what would we do with our time? If, just like a kid, if dad's got it taken care of, then we just get to play, really. If I trust that dad will pay the bill, that dad will comfort me, help me, support me with my health or my relationships, that Heavenly Father, he'll be there, then I let go of all the worries and I get to enter into at least this moment from a place of peace and abundance. And all I know is that when I operate my life from a place of peace and abundance and trust, I naturally do better work in this world. If I was super worried about my finances, I probably wouldn't be creating this video. I probably would not be creating something that truly blesses other people's lives. If I was constant, I would be going and getting a job. I would be doing other things with my time. Knowing that you're fully resourced just allows you to operate from a place of freedom. And alongside this idea, when you pair that with your only job today is to be loved, then truthfully, you just get to operate from a place of freedom. I just want to let you know that every good thing, like every good that you were made to do in this life, will happen on its own when you operate from love. Most of the time, I don't wake up and think about how loved I am. No, my normal wake up experience is I wake up and I think about what I need to do. I think about the tasks of the day. I think about the worries on my heart and mind. And so this is why my wife and I are making an effort, and it's getting better, but we forget a lot. It's just to remind ourselves, what's my job today? And to tell each other, it's just to be loved. This isn't something you do. This is something that you accept and allow. And that's a very different shift, because our Western world culture, as well as what we've been taught in society, is to do, left brain centered, formulas, step-by-step processes, numbers, accomplishment, performance. So it is a different shift to be able to say, okay, what if we let go of all of that just for a moment and enter into a place of just being loved and seeing what we do from that place of being loved. And as far as what I've experienced is that I create the best work in the world when I operate from being loved, because there's no fear in love. At the end of our conversation together, Chris and I just talked about what is it that made our conversation so full and connecting. And he talked about the idea of there being truth, like we can just share the truth with each other. We're aligned in our conversation, like we're not arguing against each other. It's more so a shared passion and discussion. We're just entering into this mystery of trying to, figure this life out and wrestling with our own inner turmoil and challenges. And one thing that I just pointed out that I think is important is this idea of safety. I feel very safe with Chris. We've shared moments together. We have shared history in terms of similar training and background and things like that. And so there's usually safety increases when we're around familiar people and we've had experiences with people. And because trust is increased, the more experiences you have with someone and the more you realize that they are trustworthy or that they are not shaming you or mistreating you in your experiences, every encounter that you have. So some people actually don't even feel safe with God. Because of their history, that their challenges with parents being mistreated, even harmed by different parental figures, is painted on the face of God, and now God becomes dangerous. So it is crucial that you work in a safe place. And if you don't have a safe place, my invitation is to come to the Receive Academy. I really try to create a safe place. And I know that you get to be safe with me because I am actively looking at you through the eyes of God. And God does not look upon your actions and your behaviors. He looks upon your heart. He looks upon the wholeness of who you are. He sees the beginning from the end. He knows your history. He knows your future. And to him, you're just one big, wonderful, beautiful being and child that he loves. And so it's like there's great safety in that, in knowing that you're being seen not for what you do, but for who you really are. And so if you need a safe space, I can be that safe space for you. I know that there's so many people that are even better than I in the community, the Receive Academy, that are even safer, more loving, more compassionate than I am. And so all I know is that when you have safety, when you have truth, you have a fearless conversation that brings light and expands you. The more that you have those kind of conversations, oh man, the more your life will just expand. And like what comes to my mind even now is like, I can't have fearless conversations. Yeah, I can't think of one person in my church. I know that's hard to say. In my local congregation, I can't think of one person that I feel truly safe with. That's saying something. And maybe that's partly why I created a community, because I need those kind of people in my life. And honestly, there are things that I have shared with those that are like really close to me that I just like barely shared. So sometimes it takes time, and that's okay. But it's like to get in an environment and community where you can be safe. It's really important. So come on in. This last slide just shares like 10 things. It's just a review. So let me just review some of the things that I shared. One is to just live your life and serve your life from a place of abundance. Know that abundance is real. And that connects to number 7, which is live as if you're fully resourced. Like live in the abundance that God has got things taken care of. Time, money, resources, people, relationship, health. There's abundance that exists. and it's available. And if we're willing to tap into it, when we're willing to focus on what abundance do I have now, and you live from that feeling of abundance, then more abundance comes. You reap what you sow. Every challenge is an invitation. So anything that you're finding difficult right now, consider that an opportunity to ask the Lord, Lord, where are you in this? What do you want me to know in this? What abundance have you given me to be able to meet this challenge? Know that God speaks in more than just words. Look for ways that God is speaking. Name 5 ways that he spoke to you today. Reflect on it. Ponder it. Ask the Lord, Lord, show me where you talked to me today in different ways. And you'll find that the box that you have of how God speaks to you widens, and now you have more freedom to be able to listen. And what if there are no wrong ways? You let go of there being a right way and of needing to live your life in a certain way. And then your focus is aimed at being loved. So point number 5, point number 8, the mission is to be loved. And I promise you that when you operate from that, you don't have to worry about right or wrong. When you operate from love and your mission is to abide in love, you will just naturally do great things and you'll become the best version of yourself. So stop thinking about right or wrong and start thinking about, am I feeling loved right now? And if not, if I'm not feeling loved, if I'm not feeling at peace, what's getting in the way of that? Lord, talk to me. What do you want me to know? What am I afraid of? What's getting in the way? That is what brings so many good things. That's what helps you to start seeing things in a new light. And number 6, let even the good stuff be remade. So we're getting rid of all of it. We're just tear down our whole paradigm, way of life, habits, all of it. Just live in a newness of life. Live from a place of, Lord, what now? What are you doing? Do you love me? Great. What should we do? This, that, I don't know. Let's just live loved and see what happens. Safety plus truth equals connection. Maybe not fearlessness, but leads to deeper connection because you can be fearless in the conversation with another person. And lastly, I'll just share that today's sandbox is beautiful. Keep playing in the sandbox. This is our sandbox, this world, this life. You can do it. And you might even hear my kids in the background. They yell, they scream, they play. They don't care. They don't care. But my oldest, she's caring a lot more. She's worried about things. She's anxious about things. And she's learning more rules. But my 3-year-old, man, he doesn't care about anything. He just wants what he wants when he wants it. And he's not afraid to cry in front of you. He's not afraid to dance when music's playing. Doesn't matter if he's in the middle of a grocery store. Freedom. Be a child. Kingdom of God is like children. Anyways, I love you guys. Come and join the Receive Academy at receiveacademy.com. If you want to in-depth, you want to see what happens in your life by committing 5 days to really listening to God. We've got a Hearing God challenge coming up. I'll invite you to try that out. Go to hearinggodchallenge.com. It's fun to see what happens. So have a good one. We'll close it there and we'll talk to you later.